I am a watchman. I watch. I listen. I speak. I warn the nations using words that heal, teach, and reveal the will of the Eternal. I am a watchman.
The worship song that says this: our God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley.
Previously on Next 5 Minutes.
So why do couples make up? Because we usually think that making up will somehow mend the pieces of our broken hearts. Nope. You're supposed to mend the pieces of your broken heart by yourself. Then you are whole. Then you can join your heart to someone else.
The prodigal son has returned. I prefer son of thunder. As you wish. Open the archives. Yea, the archives are opened. Proceed. First item. I don't know why Next 5 Minutes is actually 20 minutes long. Second item. In the last video session, I told you, God called out Adam and he asked him, "Where are you?" This was God's way of letting Adam know that he was not in the place that he created for him. Adam and Eve, they are lost in an illusion created by Satan. And you know, when you first realize you're lost, the first question you ask yourself is, where am I? Let's examine this question. It's comprised of two parts. The where is the part of the question that is your location relative to where you are supposed to be. And the am I, well, that's you. Let's focus on this part of the question. Adam and Eve were tricked by Satan. We know that. But how many of us have found ourselves lost because of some illusion that someone else created for us? They promised whatever, and we found out sometime later that the promise was an illusion. Abrams, halt and catch fire. I just told you, the am I is not just you, it is also a question. It is the inverse of the answer, and that answer is I am. Yes, God is also known as the great I am, from Exodus 3:14, which ends with God telling Moses, "Tell them I am sent you." If you have lost your way on your path, it is most likely due to an illusion. Either someone cast it on you or you cast it on yourself. So what is lost? Okay, you tried God, you became disgruntled because he didn't answer your prayer, and you tried some other God. Or after investing many years in a romantic relationship, you realize that the love you have was for an illusion of the person. Or some stronghold that you built caused you to take unnecessary turns on your path that cost you many things or many people. To defeat an illusion, we must remember that we were created in God's image. I am is the answer to the am I question. Don't you see? I am, or you are the image of I am, which is God. Finally, when you know where you are in relation to where you are supposed to be, you are no longer lost. So for this session, lost is not a fixed physical location. It is a spiritual definition. Press along, saints. For the soul that is lost, the spirit of pride, faithful companion that it is, will bring along encouragement. This will make the person think, I'm too embarrassed to reveal that I made a mistake, that I listened to the wrong person. I should have seen all the signs. The fear of failure or starting over is too much to bear. But I'm telling you, going back to your starting point is not going back to who you used to be. It is going back to where you are supposed to be. Message. Listen to me. The best version of yourself is the true version of yourself, not something you make up to cover a mistake. Now, it also must be said that if loving the illusion of a love interest is bad, then loving the illusion you created of yourself is bad too. This is not self-love. This is self-illusion love. Some people got delivered right there on that. Do it now. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. On that note, close the archives. Yea, the archives are closed. None shall pass. Also in the last session, we said that God created the world and Satan cast illusions on our perception of God's creation. Is God worthy of praise? Yes. Then we, created in his image, are worthy of giving him praise. You might have heard that the number one lie that Satan wants us to believe is that he does not exist. True. Well, the second lie is that he is actively attacking us right now. For most, this is an illusion. To understand this, we must look at two forms of spiritual warfare. The first is active spiritual warfare. This happens to people like me. I'm engaged in active spiritual warfare because I help people to pull down strongholds. And this work is done with teaching and deliverance. So of course, I must be met with resistance immediately, actively. But most people are not doing this work. And so most people are engaged in the second kind of spiritual warfare, which is called passive spiritual warfare. That means Satan is not doing anything to you right now. Nope. What he did to you, he did long ago. You see, Satan does not have the resources to attack us all at once. Remember 1 Peter 5:8. For your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So this takes effort on his part. Additionally, he is not omniscient and omnipresent like God, but he does have some knowledge of who we are. His strategy is to corrupt our future from the time that we are children. Watchmen, watch the children. If that child does not get therapy and or deliverance from Satan's trauma in their childhood or even in their adulthood, and say that trauma is of a sexual or social nature, this could affect the child in their romantic relationships in their adulthood, possibly even marriage. How does this happen? We develop a mindset, which the Bible calls a stronghold, to protect the ego from future trauma. This is natural. We all do it. That child can become successful. People can even love them. But the child, now grown, does not know that they carry the enemy's plan for them. The trigger for the mentioned trauma may occur 20 years later when they marry. How do we know which active or passive spiritual warfare we are in at any time? I will tell you. Active spiritual warfare is where you do everything in your power to overcome an adverse situation and you still struggle with it. So you continue to struggle in areas of your life where there should be no struggle. You can't understand how this is happening. If you recall a few video sessions ago, I told you that all kinds of anomalous things were happening with me producing these videos. Things that should not happen. I fixed one thing, it's something else. Then I went around the whole circle and then something else went wrong. This was a blessing for me because it taught me a lot about producing videos. Until I got to the point where if something came up, I just said, okay, whatever, I can fix it. Passive spiritual warfare is when you want to do something that you know is right, but it feels like something is holding you back from doing it. It's a struggle within yourself. And so that is a spiritual warfare. You are fighting yourself, or the stronghold that you may have created to protect your ego from more trauma. If it's fear, anxiety, addictions, all of these things are supporting strongholds that hold us back. That is not Satan. He already did the work. He created the trauma and it lay dormant within us until some point came up where we were triggered and now we can't understand what is happening. We can't fix it. Maybe we want to avoid it, but not everyone gets therapy or deliverance. Or deliverance. I think it should be both. So unproductive mindsets are called strongholds in the Bible. All right, let's deliver some people and save some marriages. So that same child who is now an adult and married has a spouse who somehow always seemed to uproot some deep-seated emotions that they work very hard to suppress. First, we should not suppress our emotions. Second, we all spend a lot of time developing the life that we think is admirable and acceptable to ourselves and others. And so naturally, we want a kingdom spouse to complement the life that we developed. See, most people are not the life that they created for us to see. So watch this. God made your kingdom spouse for you before you made the life that you wanted this person to be added to. Someone got delivered on that. God may send you a kingdom spouse who may or may not fit your mold. But since God's desire is that you should be whole on the inside, because this is who you truly are, that is who your kingdom spouse matches. That may cause those deep-seated emotions to erupt. It's forcing you or helping you to heal. So your kingdom spouse cannot control how they interact with your undesirable emotions that you have suppressed. This is because this is the way they're made. They're not in control of how they affect that. So without understanding this, some couples will divorce, citing irreconcilable differences, not knowing that the problems that they once faced were the blessings that they turned their backs on. Okay, hold that point. Let's tie that into the stronghold. So a stronghold is like a scab on a cut. If you were to cut yourself, your skin would heal from the inside out. I said from the inside, and that is important to note because it ties into the kingdom spouse that God sends you. It's someone who matches the true you inside. I need to say this another way. If we are not healed on the inside, but desiring for marriage and believing in every way that we are ready for marriage, God can send you that kingdom spouse. But this person is coming to complement the healing that needs to take place inside of you. Let's look at this from another perspective. It's as if someone carried Satan's trauma for 30 years and they built a scab on the outside of the wounding that they have, the trauma, rather than healing on the inside. Who is holding on to a stronghold for 30 years? has a scab that is 30 years old. It only takes a few days to form a scab. But unlike our skin, our ego never stops building strongholds. Someone's going to get deliverance on that. Unless something like deliverance or therapy and counseling disrupts it. Some of us married our kingdom spouse, great, yay us, and we moved into the stronghold that they built before we moved into the home that we built with them. I said this a few times now. Strongholds can be brought down by therapy and or counseling and deliverance. But we should note that there is a difference between therapy and counseling. Psychology.org says that in general, counselors help to address specific issues with advice and counseling, while therapists identify the underlying psychological roots of that behavior. They will do this through psychological methods. I like to think of it this way. Counseling can be effective as a short-term treatment for something specific, like if you're dealing with the loss of someone, right? You would get like a chaplain, or you might get some grief counseling initially. Now, if the trauma from that event prevents you from going to work for weeks at a time and you cannot function, you cannot think straight, this is a case for therapy. But I am not a mental health professional. Note, it is incorrectly assumed that people who hear from God are subject matter experts on everything. This is not true. Full stop, return, new paragraph. So the stronghold is powerful. It can oppress you. For ease of understanding, possession is control of someone from within. Oppression is control of someone without, outside of them. This is external to the person. Few people are possessed, even in the Bible. But we should all agree that multitudes of people are oppressed. That is the most subtle form of control. This can be done physically. You can physically oppress someone. But when it is done subtly, it's an illusion, like you don't know that something is wrong. We think we have free will because we have choices, but the choices are presented to us from the same agenda. We feel like because we have this option and the freedom of movement to go this way, that we have free will. But when we come here, we may be oppressed here, which will force us to go to the left. And we're all the time doing this. This is control. The movement kind of looks serpentine. Or the back and forth kind of looks like a pendulum, which can also be used to control people. I know they use that for other stuff. We don't have to get into that. Now, could someone have a stronghold and faithfully attend church? Yes. I told you this in the last session. This can be true. This is the most dangerous kind of stronghold because people will add the word of God to it. When the preacher shares a scripture that supports that stronghold, people receive it. They accept it and continue building their stronghold. In fact, before the preacher can finish the scripture, the person finishes it for them. They will stand up and recite the rest of it. But if the preacher shares a scripture that does not support that stronghold, the person doesn't receive it. They may even reject it. They know it's the word of God. They may still nod their heads, but they're not going to stand up and say it with the preacher. We'll leave that alone. We're still living in a stronghold. I need you to understand this about spiritual warfare. I told you that for most of my life, I had an above average fear of public speaking. I fear speaking, period. But look at what I have to do now. Do you understand why the enemy would come against me as a child? To have a fear of speaking to people? If I didn't beat that spiritual warfare, I couldn't do this spiritual warfare. So you must ask yourself, what is the block in my life? What is the enemy trying to hold me back from? Or what am I trying to hold myself back from that the enemy could have deposited in my life long ago? If it has to do with your marriage or any relationship, they're always ending the same, but they're different people. It could be that your union could produce a child that will do something super awesome for humanity. Satan knows this and doesn't want that to happen. He did his work and he walked away. Look at how God can bless us. In my case, the warfare that I have to fight was also the gift that I had to use. Listen, let's say some more marriages. If you are married and you have a problem with sexual intimacy, your warfare is sexual intimacy. It is not against Satan. Something happened at some point in your life to cause you to have this block. That's right. Every time you and your spouse gets busy, you beat Satan. Your arsenal would contain not only the armor of God, but lingerie, a thong, nothing at all. Get therapy, get delivered, and get busy with your spouse. Marriage bed is not defiled. Satan actually loves when we engage him in spiritual warfare. We buy a lot of books, and we listen to people. We go on corporate fasts and prayers. Satan loves it because he's not actually there. He already did the work. Listen to me. We will bind and loose, fast and pray, rebuke Satan, resist Satan. We will praise and worship God and still not receive deliverance. You cannot bind or loose something that does not exist in your situation. Now, for those of you who are not married and you're having sexual relations, I won't judge you. I was there. I did it too. But knowing what I know now, I would not have done that. There are too many things that can be passed between people sexually that you do not want to be left with. Your life is not worth your desire. I don't care how good they look. If you said to me, Abrams, you don't understand. I love this girl, man. She's beautiful. She is fine. Look, if I don't have sex with her, someone else is going to have sex with her. If there is a chance that this woman would have sex with someone else, she's probably going to have sex with someone else. It might not be tonight because you're with her, but 15 nights from tonight when you're not, that might happen. But how are you going to live your life? Having sex with her or wanting to be with her, mainly because you fear that she's going to be with someone else or have sex with someone else. You've decreased your value. So your sex is not love, it is a form of control. Hello? Is this mic on? Who am I talking to right now? Are you hearing me? I told you, I am a watchman. I'm watching you. Listen to me. If it's right, it's going to be all right. Conversely, if it's not all right, you will not be able to make it all right. It does not make me feel good to tell someone that, because you could have spent all day before you saw this video believing that that could work. I believe some people were already delivered, but some have not been. Let's understand that deliverance can take place in a church or anywhere. I like the church because you will need some kind of support beyond deliverance. Spiritual counseling is good, but I like clinical therapy because it encompasses more. People that are seeking deliverance may not be saved. They may not be in a church. If you are a churchgoer or you're in a deliverance ministry, you know that maybe 90% of the people who show up for deliverance services and they are delivered, thank you, Jesus, they don't come back. This clinical therapy takes apart the stronghold brick by brick. This could take place over weeks or months at a time, and then they are given tools and resources to help them deal with the memories and the bad feelings and emotions associated with whatever they had to come through. Deliverance, on the other hand, that can happen in one night. But the problem is just what I said. People walk away and they don't come back. But we know that there is still a stigma attached to therapy. There shouldn't be. Let's look at some reasons why therapy is recommended. So therapy is for people who want self or relationship improvement. That's about all of us, right? It also helps us to get away from using unhealthy coping skills like alcohol or drugs. Are you having a difficult time regulating your emotions? Do you want to manage your stress more effectively? Are you undergoing major life changes? Could you use parenting support? Could you use help managing a traumatic event that occurred in your life? Is your mood affecting your work? And look, this is just a short list. You can find a more extensive list on verywellmind.com. So we make the case for therapy. We need to make the case for deliverance for a specific group of people. What if you are a member of a church and you're like, how can I need deliverance? I go to church every Sunday or maybe 3 times a week. Well, not all churches are created equal. Some churches are dedicated to the deliverance ministry. Some pastors may not like what I have to say. Your ego, your title, your church name, your love, or even your good intentions does not deliver people. Some pastors may have to refer someone who is on their church rolls to another ministry in order to receive that deliverance. You can pray that the person comes back to you. That's acceptable. No one wants someone to leave their church. But if you know that is not your calling and anointing to deliver people, you should not try to hold them and hope that this thing is going to work out just by them coming to your services. That's not right. Okay, I want to end it there. Purge. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Purge. Purge. Why do bad things happen to good people? Purge. Because some people willfully engage in illusions, then they try to pray the outcome away. Purge. My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Purge. You cannot have faith and fear at the same time.
He's too good to be good. He must be evil.
Silence. Why is grass talking to the goat? Purge. Sit your spirit down. Purge. You cannot surrender to God and man. Purge. Purge. In a future time, an organization presenting itself as a church of God, but is really a cult, led by a false prophet, will be in the news for committing inconceivable acts. This is a story you will not miss. It contains everything. Everything. They can no longer hide. God has seen, and so have the authorities. Purge. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. Purge.
I have no God.
I have many gods.
Yes, there are many false gods and many false prophets, many false churches and many false believers. Yet all of your work in this dispensation did not move any of God's prophets. So how's this working out for you? Purge. Your God ain't godding. Purge. Usurpers, your blood will boil with envy when you see me. 100 years from now, when your DNA is examined, it will read, Abrams Rising did this to me. Purge. Active spiritual warfare is an extremely sensitive time for you. Do not make random statements like, I'm hungry. Because to satisfy the feelings of hunger, you would naturally eat food. But this alone does not satisfy the hungry statement that you made. Do not say, I am tired. If this is true, you would naturally satisfy the feelings of tiredness with sleep. But you have not satisfied the tired statement. The tongue has the power of life and death. Right, disembodied voice? Yay. It is important to note that we should not become overly spiritual. Myself, I like to go to the beach, play video games, watch movies, spend time with my family. We need a well-balanced life. Do you understand? Yay. The enemy would love nothing more for us to spend a lot of time and energy and resources engaging in spiritual warfare against absolutely nothing. Purge. I left the warmth of my mother's womb helpless. Purge. I walked the earth with all the power of a man and was still helpless. Purge. After much experience, but not knowing better, I walked into the womb of adversity. Purge. It was there that God met me. He trained me. He loved me. In his timing, he let the things that once held me back birth me again. Purge. Reborn of adversity, but now with power. I will teach and cut with the same sword. Abrams, halt and rest.
Somebody lift your hands as we celebrate the greatness of our God. He's great and he's greatly to be praised. Song that says this: our God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Come on, our God is awesome. He heals me when I'm broken. Gives strength where I've been weak. Forever he'll reign. Come on, say, my God is awesome. My God is awesome. He can move mountains. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. My God is awesome. He heals me when I'm broken. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I've been weak. Strength where I've been weak. Forever he'll reign. Come on, if you believe it, lift your voice and say, my God is awesome. Come on, if you know he's awesome, say it. Awesome. Come on and lift your voice. Awesome. 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 My God. My God is awesome. Come on and testify. Awesome. Awesome. If you believe it, say it. Awesome. Come on and say it. Think about it. Savior of the whole world. Giver of salvation. By his stripes, I'm healed. My God is awesome. Today I am forgiven. His grace is why I'm living. Somebody ought to praise his holy name. Come on and testify. You know he's awesome. Say it.